Madam Toastmaster, and good afternoon, my fellow Downtown speakers. I'll just start off by saying that tax day doesn't really bother me because I file at the earliest opportunity just to get it over with, but I tend to procrastinate with just about everything else in my life. And being the master procrastinator that I am, I really struggled with trying to decide on the topic for my speech. I consider telling you all about my family and that my dad's the oldest of 12, my mom's one of 9 born, but only 11 born and 9 surviving children in her family. I have well over 100 first cousins, and it can get pretty convoluted trying to count them all. Last time I tried, it was easily over 100. I'm the oldest grandchild on my father's side of the family and the third on my mom's. I'm the oldest of 4 and the proud mother of a wonderful 8-year-old girl that will be turning 18 way before I'm ready for that. I thought about telling you that I was considered an anchor baby because my parents were in the country illegally when I was born. And the Immigration Reform and Control Act of 1986 opened the way for them to be able to become naturalized citizens eventually. So you can probably guess I have some pretty unique views on the whole illegal immigration debate. I could tell you about how to play volleyball in high school. I made all conference my senior year, even though I almost didn't make it on the varsity squad because I couldn't ever run very fast and my vertical jump's barely over a foot. I can tell you how I finally decided to study civil engineering, why it took me 6 years to get my bachelor's degree, and how I landed this job. My 10-year anniversary is coming up at the end of this year. I can tell you about the fact that I have a divorce decree but no marriage certificate because I had to divorce the father of my child, even though we never actually got married. I could tell you why I bought a house last year, but I choose to live in my brother's house and I pay rent to my mother. I could tell you about how I taught myself to snowboard and why my daughter loves Steamboat Springs so much. I thought I could tell you about my passion for dancing, and I transitioned from a very uncomfortable and awkward dancer to someone that now others admire and actually enjoy watching when I go out. But since my martial arts training currently dominates my life outside of work, I finally decided that the title of my speech would be something that my daughter recently said while we were on our way to sparring class. She asked me if I knew why we were Master Brown's favorite students, and I told her I didn't know, but that we could ask him once we got to the school. And she said, I already know why. Me? Because I'm small and cute. You? Because you kick butt. My daughter and I have been training in Taekwondo for 3 years now, and I'm currently in prep cycle. That means I get to spend over 10 hours a week training to perfect the techniques we use in our forms and combinations to get me ready for my black belt test. I have to go to prep cycle practice 3 days a week, and in addition to that, I still have to go to my regular classes and help teach the underbelts twice a week, so at a minimum, I'm at the karate school 5 days a week. I tested into prep cycle on February 8th, which is a very convoluted process that involves demonstrating your knowledge of the underbelt curriculum and your ability to defend yourself. The underbelt curriculum is just all the forms and combinations that we've learned along the way from white belt to brown belt. The form is really just a choreographed fight, and this allows the black belts to evaluate your technique while you execute various punches and kicks and blocks that make up the form. The combination is just a series of up to maybe 5 or 6 punches and kicks that we use while we're sparring. And then we have a sparring portion of our test where we get to show the black belts that we can effectively use those combinations in a fight. Now, getting into prep cycles is no guarantee that you'll actually succeed in earning your conditional belt 3 months later. We started out with 20 people. 3 have already been cut, and 1 quit, and there have been a few others that have been warned that if their performance doesn't improve, they're in danger of being cut as well. Every class and every progress test is just another opportunity for the black belts to find a reason to cut us. Now, the sparring that we did as part of testing in the prep cycle was nothing compared to our actual sparring test a month later on March 8th. For our sparring test, we had to do a minimum of 4 2-minute rounds, back-to-back with maybe about 15 seconds in between while the black belts rotated in and out. So they got to rest, but we didn't. It was not easy to fight anyone for more than a couple minutes. In real life, either one person is obviously won by that point and the fight's over, or people are so exhausted that they just give up. The sparring test is really more of a stress test to see how your technique suffers when you're tired. One of our student creeds is I will only fight to protect my life and the lives of others. So running is always our first option. But if you happen to get chased and then you get cornered, you better be able to punch or kick your way out of trouble no matter how tired you are. I was one of the lucky few that got selected to do a 5th round that night. By that time, I had already been in the ring for almost 10 minutes. And I know 2 more minutes doesn't really sound like a whole lot, but it's really hard to keep trying to hit someone that's a lot better than you are, especially when you're already tired and you're still trying to block all the things that they're doing at you. And so when I left the floor, I felt like I was going to vomit. One night during prep cycle practice, I was sparring a guy that's at least a foot taller than I am, and he managed to land an axe kick to his head. Now, I will demonstrate this. Keep in mind that I can do this a whole lot better when I'm warmed up and stretched out. That is an axe kick. And after I kicked John in the head, he stopped and stuck out his arm so he could touch gloves. It's pretty customary if someone lands good technique to just kind of stop for a moment, respect the fact that if you're out on the street without all your protective gear on, you probably would have gotten knocked out. And this is exactly why if you were to ask my daughter about our training, she will tell you, my mommy kicks butt.